unlimited mobile included for 1 year. Additional lines just $30 each. Click, call, or visit a Spectrum store today.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. Never do that. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris.
As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
I'm Jenna Enoch. Here's your Spectrum News in 90. A federal judge is holding a hearing today in the case of the Maryland man wrongfully deported to El Salvador. The country's president says he won't release Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the U.S. The Supreme Court has called for the Trump administration to facilitate the return of Abrego Garcia. The Trump administration says it is freezing $2.2 billion in funding for Harvard after the university rejected policy changes. The university's president says the school will not surrender its independence or its constitutional rights. The White House called for the elimination of the school's diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, among other requests. Officials in Pennsylvania are still working to determine a motive for the arson attack at the governor's mansion. The suspect, Cody Balmer, was denied bail yesterday and did not enter a plea to charges that include attempted homicide, terrorism, and arson. Investigators are digging into his background. They say he scaled an iron security fence and set fire to Governor Josh Shapiro's home. And today is tax day. It's the deadline to file your taxes unless you file an extension or live in a state with automatic extensions due to natural disasters. Residents in several states, include South Carolina, have until May 1st. Those impacted by the California wildfires have until October 15th. And that's your Spectrum News in 90.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your weather on the Ones forecast. Pretty nice weather all across the lower 48 as we get going into the afternoon and evening hours. We're going to see high temperatures in the upper 60s from Memphis to Kansas City, low to middle 50s across the Great Lakes, and how about the mid 60s up in New York. But just to the north of that, we are going to have a good chance for some wintry weather, more snowfall in the forecast. We'll break it down for you coming up in 10 minutes on your weather on the Ones forecast.
Thank you for joining us on Spectrum News. I'm Jenna Enoch in for Bree. We start with some new developments on the Maryland father wrongfully deported to El Salvador. A federal judge is set to hold another hearing today in the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case. During a meeting with President Donald Trump, El Salvador's president said he doesn't plan to release the man from prison. And now President Trump suggests he is open to deporting some U.S. citizens who are considered violent criminals.
We always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country.
Experts say the move would violate federal law. Angie Gonzalez has the latest.
Trump administration officials previously conceded Kilmar Abrego Garcia was deported to El Salvador despite a 2019 immigration judge's order barring his removal from the U.S.
It was an administrative error.
But after El Salvador's president met with President Donald Trump at the White House, administration officials are now taking a different stance.
There was no mistake that was made.
What remains to be seen is which position the government takes in court today. Lawyers for both sides are back before Judge Paula Zinnes after she ordered daily updates from the Trump administration on what it's doing to secure Abrego Garcia's return to the U.S.
What might be said publicly is not necessarily what is said in court, right? Many things have been shared publicly over the last few weeks, and then we get into the courtroom and there is nothing to back it up.
Attorneys and advocates for the 29-year-old husband and father believe the law is on their side. Last week, the Supreme Court ruled unanimously the Trump administration must facilitate his return. Both President Trump and President Nayib Bukele, however, say that there is no legal basis for bringing Abrego Garcia back to the U.S. They argue he was born in El Salvador, entered the U.S. illegally, and was simply deported to his home country.
How can I return him to the United States? Like I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it.
Members of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus say the Trump administration is ignoring the courts. They've reached out to President Bukele in the hopes that they can visit Abrego Garcia and check on his well-being. In Washington, Angie Gonzalez, Spectrum News.
The Trump administration freezes $2.2 billion in funding for Harvard University. It's over the school's refusal to enact changes as part of an investigation into anti-Semitism. The White House wanted Harvard to eliminate diversity programs and enact rules over staff activism. Well, the school joins Cornell, Columbia, Princeton, University of Pennsylvania, and Brown. They have collectively had an excess of $4.2 billion in funding frozen. And President Trump is now considering a pause on his auto tariffs. He says car companies are going to start switching to using parts made in the U.S. versus Mexico and Canada, but they, quote, need a little bit of time to relocate production. The president says he's flexible on the implementation of his tariffs. The ongoing trade war has triggered uncertainty and confusion in world markets. The man accused of setting fire to the Pennsylvania governor's mansion has been denied bail. 38-year-old Cody Balmer was arraigned yesterday after allegedly setting fire to Governor Josh Shapiro's home Sunday morning. Investigators say he started the fire by turning beer bottles into Molotov cocktails. The governor says he is not letting the arson attack impact his responsibilities.
I refuse to let anyone who had evil intentions like that stop me from doing the work that I love.
Balmer did not enter a plea to charges that include homicide, terrorism, and arson. Jury selection is set to begin today in movie producer Harvey Weinstein's trial in New York. Well, in 2020, he was convicted of rape and sentenced to 23 years in prison. Well, New York's highest court overturned the conviction and then ordered a new trial, finding his original one was tainted by improper rulings and prejudicial testimony. He has pleaded not guilty and denies sexually assaulting anyone. Opening statements are expected next week. It's that time of year again. The deadline to file your taxes is today. But with many communities being hit by natural disasters, the IRS has extended the April 15th deadline in several affected states. Joining us this morning, Spectrum News reporter Katie Strike. Katie, what do people need to know if they still haven't filed their taxes?
Well, Jenna, there is some time, just not a lot of time. Now, for most taxpayers, they have until tonight to file. But if you were affected by a natural disaster last year, you may have until May 1st. Automatic extensions have been applied to areas across more than 9 states. We're talking about areas like California, Florida, Kentucky, North and South Carolina. But if you are one of the millions of people who have already filed their taxes, here's a way you can use the money to help you.
Pay off the high interest rate credit card debt. That's going to put a return into your pocket equal to the interest rate on the debt.
Now, if you already paid off high interest rate credit card debt, you can also put it in a certificate of deposit account, high yield savings account, or even invest in the stock market. Now, the IRS says it sent out nearly 68 million refunds already, the average tax return being about $3,000. Jenna?
Katie, thanks so much. That's a lot to take in. And what if you file tonight and you're not in the area that was affected by the natural disaster? The clock's ticking, right?
100%. Now, Jenna, they would need to file an extension if you aren't in one of those areas that was hit by a natural disaster. That's nothing to be ashamed about. That's actually a reality for more than 20 million taxpayers each year, which is about 1 in 8. They request an extension to file. Jenna?
Katie, good information. Thanks so much. Coming up up on Spectrum News, concerned senior citizens speak out amid potential cuts to Social Security.
Weather can be beautiful, inconvenient, and at times powerful. And it affects everything we do. At Spectrum News Plus, our weather experts update you with the information and the context you need so you can better plan your day. And we do it every 10 minutes. We're the calm in the storm. Weather on the Ones on Spectrum News Plus, exclusively on Spectrum. And get your weather anytime on the Spectrum News app.
Enjoy, unwind, connect with Spectrum TV on Demand. From the latest hit movies you've been waiting to watch to your favorite comfort shows and more, all available instantly for you to stream. Create the all-around entertainment experience you've always wanted with Spectrum TV on Demand. Browse over 80,000 on-demand titles today.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Weather on the Ones forecast. Well, we started the work and school week off with some more much-needed rainfall across portions of the Ohio Valley, but also had a low-level threat for strong to severe thunderstorms, had a level 2 slight risk for severe weather yesterday, and we did have a couple of damaging wind reports, but rainfall totals certainly amounted to around 1.5 inches at the very most, so we didn't see any flooding concerns, thankfully, out of this storm system. Closer to the mid-Atlantic states, we picked up around 1 inch at the very most in some of those areas, and that frontal system is going to continue to work its way eastward. You'll notice it's draped across the northeast all the way down into portions of the southern plains, and on the backside of this, we are going to have cooler temperatures to look forward to briefly as we transition into Wednesday evening. But what we're watching is this upper level low that's sweeping across the Great Lakes region. This is going to continue to bring some rain and even some snow showers by the time we get towards the end of the night tonight into early Wednesday morning across western New York, where we do have winter weather advisories in place all the way through Wednesday afternoon and the evening. So this is the only winter weather advisory that's going to be going into effect. Do have some in effect across portions of northern Michigan that will expire as we get into the afternoon hours today. But the storm system is going to continue to progress to the north and east, bringing rain, scattered showers, and some snowfall mixing in with that. But once temperatures dip below freezing later tonight, that's when we're going to see that change over to all snow across western New York and perhaps into portions of some of the higher elevations down towards West Virginia as well. But that upper level low is still with us Wednesday morning, bringing some gusty winds out of the west around 20 to 25 miles per hour. But by the end of the day, Wednesday and into our Thursday, should dry out completely and should see a good deal of sunshine with a warming trend on the way just in time for the weekend. So as far as snowfall totals go, we'll likely see around 1 inch to 2 inches in some areas, but could see some isolated snowfall totals exceeding 6 inches, especially closer to the lake shores of Lake Erie and Ontario. And speaking of our temperatures, they are going to be all over the place the next couple of days, but the warming trend is going to continue into this upcoming weekend. We'll talk about it coming up in 10 minutes.
Here's a look at what you need to know. A federal judge is holding a hearing today in the case of the Maryland man wrongfully deported to El Salvador. The country's president says he won't release Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the U.S. The Trump administration says it is freezing $2.2 billion in funding for Harvard. The university's president says the school will not surrender its independence or its constitutional rights. And today is tax day. It's the deadline to file your taxes unless you file an extension or you live in a state with automatic extensions due to natural disasters. And that's what you need to know this morning. A 5.2 earthquake centered in San Diego County, California yesterday was felt as far north as Los Angeles County. Take a look.
The whole
whole
sky was rumbling.
There was just a huge earthquake, San Diego.
Video from inside this San Diego home shows the moment the quake struck, causing household items and the camera to shake. Similar video from a home north of San Diego shows two dogs panicking. And at the San Diego Zoo, African elephants were seen instinctively circling a calf to protect it when the ground started shaking. Officials say they resumed normal behavior after just a few minutes. The National Transportation Safety Board is now investigating a second deadly aviation disaster in New York. Investigators arrived in Copiague yesterday, New York, to survey the damage of a small plane crash right near the Massachusetts border. Well, 6 members of a family were killed in Saturday's crash. Just 2 days earlier, a helicopter crashed into the Hudson River, killing 6 people. The Federal Aviation Authority is assisting with both investigations. Today, former President Joe Biden is returning to the national stage to talk about the future of Social Security. With a federal budget deadline fast approaching, Spectrum's Genevieve Glass spoke with some seniors about their concerns.
A few times a week, 76-year-old Lee Kondo comes to Jewish Family Service Los Angeles for a free meal and a sense of community.
A lot of us depend on programs like this in order to survive. If it weren't for programs like this, many of us might not be able to live in Los Angeles.
Lee is a retired Social Security and disability attorney, now relying on the very benefits he once helped others secure.
Many of us seniors are not really, we're not really in an income category that is financially secure. With economic insecurity, we have to really plan how to make ends meet.
He worries that will only get harder after funding was pulled from the Older Americans Act nutrition program, which could mean the end of senior meals like these, and as Social Security faces scrutiny during the federal budget process. California has the most Social Security recipients in the country, over 6.3 million, many wondering if their benefits could be impacted. Among them, veteran Lincoln Zemenk, who joined a rally outside the Hollywood Social Security office late last week.
It's been a consistent, well-run machine for years, and I understand that they want to stop waste. But you don't stop waste by coming in with a chainsaw.
The Trump administration's plan calls for cutting jobs, closing field offices, and potentially privatizing services, raising red flags for local lawmakers like California Congresswoman Laura Friedman.
We want to know exactly how many employees they're cutting from the Social Security offices in our district and from the call centers that take the calls. And we also want to know, very importantly, which offices are they closing in Los Angeles.
Despite the shakeups, President Donald Trump has insisted that benefits will not be touched.
We will not cut Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid benefits.
All this comes as the stock market continues to struggle under growing uncertainty from tariffs. A volatile moment Claudio Robertson, executive director at JP Morgan Private Bank, says requires calm.
Look at your budget, go back home, think about, do I need to make that purchase today? Can I hold on a little bit until we have some more solution? And I think if you stick to the plan, we should be okay in the long run.
For Lee, stability can't come soon enough.
We hope that they have a long-term plan for us, but at the same time, we feel very insecure.
For the millions of seniors on edge, the future of Social Security is more than political. It's personal. Genevieve Glass, Spectrum News.
A Historic space launch involving all women. Just ahead on Spectrum News, an inside look at what happened on the Blue Origin rocket and how some of the stars say it changed their outlook on life.
Spectrum News Plus. News from a new perspective, dedicated to refreshing storytelling and empowering communities across the nation. With balanced reporting, providing real context and in-depth coverage 24 hours a day.
Here's a look at your forecast across the country.
Local stories, connecting communities. We are Spectrum News Plus. Streaming now on the Spectrum News app and free with your Spectrum subscription.
Look at this.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together.
Oh, that was funny.
It's all about connecting with seamless connectivity. And internet customers get one mobile line included for 1 year with Spectrum.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/act now.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Weather on the Ones forecast. Quiet weather is going to continue into the second half of this week unless you live in the Northeast. That's where we have a good chance for some snow showers to take shape as an upper level low works its way into this part of the country. But elsewhere, dry and warm weather is going to be the theme, especially as we get towards the end of the week into this upcoming weekend where temperatures have a chance to be running about 15 degrees above the average for this time of year. Just in time for the Easter holiday as well. But this front's going to continue to work its way eastward. We'll see a brief cool down for our Wednesday, and then those temperatures really start to pick back up by the time we transition into Thursday and Friday and the weekend. And of course, this upper level low is what's going to be providing us with our chance for snow showers tonight into the day on Wednesday. But not really expecting much in the way of wet weather or severe thunderstorms until we get towards Thursday evening. That's when we have a low level threat across Iowa, portions of Missouri and Kansas, as well as Nebraska under that slight risk for severe weather. The main concern with this is going to be damaging winds, perhaps some hail, and even a low level threat for an isolated tornado or two. That certainly cannot be ruled out given the conditions. So we'll break it down for you. You'll notice we'll stay dry and quiet on Wednesday, maybe a few more rumbles of thunder breaking through as we get towards daybreak Thursday morning. Not expecting much in the way of severe weather across Kansas City as we start things off, but you'll notice as we get into the later part of the day on Thursday, those threats for severe thunderstorms, maybe a few isolated thunderstorms could be capable of producing hail and damaging winds north of 60 miles per hour. So keep that in mind. But again, really not expecting that to amount to much by any means. Take a look at the rainfall totals over the next couple of days, and we're going to be seeing not much in the way of that across the southeastern United States. A good deal of sunshine in the forecast and minimal rainfall totals around an inch and a half at the very most in parts of the central United States. So that is certainly some good news there. And let's talk about our temperatures, because that's what's going to be trending upward as we get towards the end of the week. Highs today will be in the mid 80s down towards San Antonio, mid 60s in Kansas City. How about 62 degrees in St. Louis later this afternoon? Beautiful weather all across the region. Low 50s in the Great Lakes region, and then we'll see those temperatures really start to pick up on Wednesday on the backside of that cold front, but cooling off for parts of the East Coast. We fall down to the upper 60s across Raleigh and to Atlanta, and dropping down to the 50s for parts of the Northeast. But the cool down doesn't stick around as we get into Thursday and Friday. We're back into the 70s, mid 80s in Kansas City, and how about the mid 70s in St. Louis for our Thursday. Temperatures continue to trend much warmer as we get towards the end of the month and perhaps into the first couple of days of May, especially from the Central Plains all the way to the eastern half of the United States.
With the first pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Dallas Wings select Paige Bueckers, University of Connecticut.
It's been quite a month for Paige Bueckers, crowned a national champion just over a week ago, and now the first overall pick in the WNBA draft. Well, she says she's ready for the next chapter of her life.
You don't ever want to assume anything in life. Nothing is guaranteed. Sort of for this moment to be here, and it actually happened. It's nerve-wracking. You just have a level of excitement, nervousness, bittersweet feeling knowing that my journey at UConn's over, but excited for the next one to begin.
She becomes the 6th UConn player selected #1 overall in the WNBA draft. The season kicks off next month. Now to some NBA news. The play-in tournament is set to begin tonight. In the first game of tonight's slate, the 7-seed Orlando Magic will take on the 8-seed Atlanta Hawks, and then the 7-seed Golden State Warriors battle the 8-seed Memphis Grizzlies. Tomorrow, the Miami Heat will face the Chicago Bulls, and then the Dallas Mavericks will take on the Sacramento Kings. They broke the sound barrier and the glass ceiling in about 11 minutes. Now pop star Katy Perry and 5 other women are back on Earth this morning and revealing what it was like to reach the edge of space. Spectrum's Sharon Taswell tells us about Blue Origin's historic space flight.
Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket launched off its pad in Van Horn, Texas Monday morning. Liftoff. In a capsule atop the fiery send-off, the first all-female flight crew in space in over 60 years. Among them, pop star Katy Perry, journalist Gayle King, movie producer Cariana Flynn, and Amanda Nguyen, the first Vietnamese woman to fly in space. Aisha Bo, a former NASA rocket scientist, and Lauren Sanchez, who was engaged to Blue Origin's founder, Jeff Bezos. The New Shepard's capsule, only 12.5 feet wide, Perry shared a look inside on Instagram ahead of the launch.
Here I am. Seat number 2.
Their suborbital flights, reaching just beyond 62 miles above Earth, lasted only a few minutes. But the experience and memories will last much longer.
You look at it and you're like, we're all in this together. All these things that like divide us, but we're not.
Perry carried a small daisy honoring her daughter's name, but also as a symbol of those confronting their fears.
They go through cement, they go through cracks, they go through walls. They are resilient.
Gayle King was one of them, challenging her own crippling fear of flying.
I'm so proud of me right now. I still can't believe it.
Of the more than 700 people who've traveled to space, only about 15% have been women.
It's about making space for future women and taking up space and belonging.
Sharon Taswell, Spectrum News.
What a brave, strong group of women overcoming their fears there. So amazing. You can stay connected with us right here on Spectrum News by getting your national and local headlines on the go. Just download the free Spectrum News app. It's available in the App Store and on Google Play. I'm Jenna Enoch. Thanks for watching. Your Spectrum News in 90 is coming up right after this short break. Stay with us.
I tell my son, I love you every single day. I love you. Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
It's game time at the arena, and 20,000 fans are looking for a win. With an ultra-high-speed network and seamless Wi-Fi, fans can get in the door fast and share the game's best moments in real time. And with Spectrum Business committed to keeping them connected 100% of the time, they won't miss a second of the action. A secure, reliable connection from Spectrum Business means the fan experience is a guaranteed win.
Sometimes in life, in order to move forward, it helps to look back.
To learn from the pioneers and trailblazers.
To gain inspiration from those who came before us.
To show us what it means to act with empathy and to show that love has no labels.
Join WWE and Love Has No Labels throughout the year in celebrating people from all communities and heritages.
Because when love has no labels,
that's a love we can all fight for.
Women are bad with money. That's what the world's been saying for centuries. But now we've got something to say.
Save it. It's time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Until we're no longer 80% more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
Save it. The falsehoods, the feelings of fault.
Then, the funds. Learn how to save for your retirement at WeSaySaveIt.org.